And we are live! Yay!
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 Sorry for the delay, audience members. That was my fault. Well, it was my stupid computer's fault. Don't know why. Something went wrong. But here we are. We're finally back. Hey, Paul. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And Chris. Yeah, there was a distortion in the graviton matrix. I had to reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. One for the Doctor Who fans out there. Okay, so here we are. Third session. How's everyone feeling after last session?
Much better than the door did.
Yeah,
Yeah. Jesus.
we're starting to get a handle on the system here as well.
Yeah.
There was
Guys-
no warp core, so it was definitely better.
Yeah, this
And
is
I gotta tell you,
for you for now.
We were talking about this. Doors are a thing in every RPG game that I play.
Yeah.
Amy's in my D&D game, and we have problems with doors in me all the time. And
all the time.
the fact that Stu put it in the last game, I was like, I'm never going to get away with it. This is just what I do now. Issues with doors.
Fantastic. Yes. So yes, well spotted, Paul. Bosh is very much looking the
Well
part.
spotted. It's
You literally
Fairly
found the
obvious.
Ferengi in the room.
How can you miss those ears? Bosh, tell us about your ears and your face.
Well, obviously, because I'm fairly mental, I was like, "Oh, prosthetics," and I was like, "No, that's just crazy talk." However, Snapchat filters. So yeah, got a Snapchat filter using the 3D model from the Grand Nagus' staff. And yeah, I said, as I said before, I will take it off shortly because even I find it distracting seeing a large orange Ferengi head just sort of.
just imagine how the rest of your crew feels.
Yeah.
Indeed, no, I think it looks absolutely brilliant, and I've got to say, I mean, for all of you, the effort that you guys are putting in on this.
The fact that you're able to
just
put that together in 2 weeks is pretty dope. Like,
Yeah.
As I said, I had help.
$15 worth of help, which is still amazing.
Perhaps Matt didn't want to share that, but okay.
No, I'm sorry.
We are live. Speaking of which, let
Fiverr,
us-
the guy is fantastic. If I can put his details if anyone wants them. I am sure he's more than happy to do all sorts of other bits and pieces.
Well, do you know
You're back
what?
just linking my Venmo.
That is a perfect opportunity for us to share with the listeners a brand new thing. Like, when I say brand new, I mean minutes old. We have a special Discord channel now. Well, I do for Star Trek-y things. If you, as listeners, if you look in the Twitch below, you will see a link to the Discord channel. We have a special Star Trek Adventures page.
It's like all those YouTube videos
Thingy.
that never work.
Yeah, I'm pointing down because I know it's got to be underneath this.
We'll put it here
got to.
later, and then it's just never there.
But yeah, so do come and join the community. I can tell you all these guys. No, I'm pointing the wrong way. All these guys. It's mirrored. I mean, it's, you know. But yeah, all these guys are all in there, so you can harangue them and tell
I've
them. where they've
even
got
changed
rules
the
wrong.
nickname on it to be the correct character name.
Quite right.
Oh, now I can actually see where I am on stream, so it's just up into the sides. I can't point down.
Yeah, you're all
That's
over
it.
here.
It's different to on Zoom, so we're chatting over Zoom, but
Yeah.
which is different layout to what the viewers are getting. But yes, okay. So the Discord out the way, down and towards my com badge. Yes. So we're up there, there. Oh, my finger disappears. There and there. Yes.
That's that subspace anomaly that we're dealing with. That's why your finger disappeared.
It is, absolutely. But as a recap, I think we ought to go straight to Commander Eelin Wraal's logs. Take it away, please, Commander Wraal.
Murder. Sorry.
Watching you, Varren. Commander's log. Stardate 57075.8. After receiving instruction to investigate the USS Alcubierre, missing whilst testing an experimental warp drive on the edge of Federation space, the Livingston found the ship adrift, with minimal power and no life signs. Subspace interference prevented us from using transporters, so, taking the best possible officers, we set off by shuttle to investigate. I heard an old Earth expression once: when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. The lemons I've brought with me seem to be making good lemonade, indeed, albeit in surprising ways. We quickly discovered Romulans on board, who were less than friendly. Chief Medical Officer Bosh has shown surprisingly adept use of a phaser, especially for a Ferengi. And special mention should go to Lieutenant Davok for his excellent medical abilities in the field. Lieutenant Commander Lee Varren, however, has shown a surprising display of aggression. I genuinely thought he was going to kill the Romulan Ulan with his bare hands. Perhaps
I did too.
a closer eye on Mr. Varren. We're clearly in a dangerous situation and have many questions yet to answer. What are the Romulans doing on board? Was it they who slaughtered what appears to be the entire crew, including Captain John Kelly and his senior officers? Who sent us the cryptic message wanting us to meet in stellar cartography? Perhaps the unconscious Ulan at our feet has some answers, or maybe our comrades who just escaped into the Jeffries tubes do. Fortunately, we Lemons have a cunning plan.
And that brings us back into the game. So, just to lay some mechanical stuff out for you, you ended last session with 4 momentum. So you're now down to 3 momentum because we take one out. Because I'm like that. I, however, start all over again with threat, and I get 2 threat per player. So
6.
there we go. 8.
8? Ow.
Imagine you're counting by
How did you get a
Latin.
medical degree? You can't heal, you can't count.
I didn't think Usher was worth counting as a player, so
Oh, shots fired.
Oh.
brilliant.
Red alert.
Really?
Yeah, no, I'll go to red alert soon.
My tea's not even cold yet.
So,
It's because I feel like it's just being like IV'd into you at this point. Put the kettle on, let's go grab another bag and like hang it up on your.
right, well, there is no time for tea, unfortunately, because you are in this corridor on the Alcubierre with a couple of Romulans having disappeared up the Jeffries tubes and Lee Varren having made unconscious with a good right hook this female Ulan, who is unconscious on the floor at your feet. I'm waiting to hear if you're going to finish her off.
To be fair, we talked about this after the stream last time. I was pretty behind the scenes a little bit. I thought I had killed her already. And so you were like, no, she's just unconscious. And I was like, oh, thank God. So Varren is not going to kill her, but he is going to just wonder out loud if there's a fire suppression system in the maintenance tubes to Davok, and say that might be a way of flushing them out. But at that point, he's going to pocket his new knife that he's got, and he's going to step away from the fight and kind of look over himself.
Yeah, I think we decided we were going to try to see if Davok and the Doctor could maybe access the computers to basically. Those guys have gone into the Jeffries tube. Is there a way we can set up some sort of force field to trap them and then knock them out with some sort of gas? Maybe using the ship's computers to do so, if there's anything left of them.
Yeah, are there any terminals around here?
There are no terminals that would be sort of sufficient for what you're trying to do, of what you're intending to do here.
Is it?
Go on.
Would it be possible to? Oh, sorry. I would ask Davok if it's possible to start an electrical fire to force a fire suppression system, even if there's no terminal.
Well, I would imagine that if there is a fire suppression system, a fire would set it off.
So from a phaser on a high setting,
Yep.
Yeah.
aim down the Jeffrey's tube they've just been into.
We need to unseal it first.
Ah, yes. They sealed it behind themselves, didn't they?
Luckily, I have proficiency in doors.
But just
No matter how small.
just to clarify one thing, when you asked about the computers, like, you know, is there a terminal? You do know that in order to manually activate the force fields and the fire suppression system, the bridge would be your best bet for doing that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we would need to get to the bridge then.
Probably a good idea to get to the bridge to control this anyway.
Yeah.
That's
We
true.
were told to.
We were currently on the way to stellar cartography, though, weren't we?
Yeah, but
yeah.
knowing this situation, I feel like we made the decision to go to stellar cartography before we knew exactly what we were dealing with. We came to the end of the hall once we had decided we were going to stellar cartography, and then got fired upon immediately. So now that the situation has changed, perhaps the bridge is a way to maybe regain systems or figure out what's going on, how many there are.
Based on that not only scientific, medical, and also tactical insight from all of you, I think then that yes, maybe we should head towards the bridge and try and get some sort of control over the ship, and then see, because we can presumably communicate with stellar cartography from the bridge and find out who is there waiting for us.
Okay.
Yes. No, obviously, I
You're
don't need to
command.
tell you, Commander, that the rule of acquisition number 62, the riskier the road, the greater the profit.
Who's on the profit? Yes, let's make it a profitable one, shall we, Mr.
Yeah, profit is the way of the world, sir.
Profit is
Bosh, do you think that you should be looking at this Romulan on the floor?
Instead of talking about rules of acquisition.
Are they okay?
Do you want to drag this? Drag her along with us and find out any more information?
108 says a woman wearing clothes is like a man without any profits. Do we really want this one?
Well, I think didn't we stun out of the party that was facing us? Didn't we stun two of them? Wasn't there one on the floor, a male on the floor, a female on the floor, and two vanished off?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did injure one.
Which, the fact that they were able to drag two unconscious people through the, British
they
people
only
say, the
dragged
Jeffries tube.
They only dragged one away. The
Through a
female,
tunnel.
you knocked unconscious after they had disappeared.
Yeah.
I can make sure that she's stable but unconscious.
I can carry her.
Yeah.
All right. No, we can leave her here and just tie her up, and I can make sure that she won't come around for a while.
I'm afraid if we leave her here that they may come back and grab her. If we're going to get any information right now.
Would you want me to wake her up?
I want to take her to the bridge and wake her up there.
We're taking her with us.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
I'd like to try and wake her up, please. I do have a focus in triage, if that would...
Okay, triage wouldn't be appropriate in this instance because that's really for making a decision as to who you should treat first, where you've got multiple casualties.
Emergency medicine?
Give me...
Emergency slap.
Is that a focus or a
focus?
A focus.
My talent, I've got field medicine.
Yes, field medicine would be appropriate. Emergency medicine would also be appropriate. But if you...
Does that let you do some sort of re-roll if you're doing anything with maybe daring and medicine?
No, if you roll under your discipline, it counts as 2 successes when you use a focus. That's the benefit. When treating her, how are you choosing to treat her? In an urgent, frantic manner, or in a taking your time?
A little bit of time, generally. Well, I'll put a correct setting on the hyperspray.
Okay. Give me a control and medicine check, difficulty 1.
I rolled a 4. My control is 9, and my medicine is 5.
Okay, you rolled a 4, and
That's
what
a
was your other
success.
dice?
That falls two successes, and it's only
There's
a
2
medicine.
successes.
13. So that's
Still
also
a
under.
success.
So
Yeah.
three successes. You only required 1, so you gain 2 momentum.
That's
That's a
good.
good call. And indeed, this Romulan's eyes flicker open. She takes just a moment, and then suddenly she reaches for where her knife would have been. Realizes it's gone,
And she,
so puts her hand
as she
to her
does so,
other
I'm just going
hip
to hold it out above her and just be like,
and draws her disruptor.
I'm going to knock her out because the hyperspray. I'm going to be still pretty down with the hyperspray again.
What I assumed, just bear with me here.
Mr. Varren, did you assume she was unarmed just because you'd looted her knife?
You made a point of saying you took her knife. You'd said nothing about her disruptor.
Okay. I mean,
Yep.
that's fair. I will realize that next time. That's my bad. I just assumed with an unconscious prisoner, we probably would have disarmed her. But
Need
that's
to
fair.
say it.
I would have thought so myself, but I wasn't going to prompt you because this is more fun. Okay, yeah, she flickers her eyes, and yes, you, as you are standing over her with a hypo spray. I mean, technically, it requires changing the medicine, but I'm happy that you're on guard enough that you would have had something prepared.
Okay,
So-
in which case, I'm going to grab her disruptor and I'm going to drag her by the feet just down the hallway and say, let's go to the bridge.
Okay, which way down the hall are you dragging her? Back to the shuttle bay, or
Well,
just
have
generally
I
down the bridge? Down the corridor?
considering I don't know this particular ship, I'm assuming this ship wasn't completely new. This is either a prototype of an existing model or something along those lines, like an NX model or something along those lines.
We're in a wasn't it Olympic?
It's an Oberth.
No birth.
It's no
Having a
birth
focus on starship engineering and having built starships in my previous life, probably Federation starships or Starfleet starships, would I have an understanding of where the bridge is just offhand?
So, mechanically speaking, your focus wouldn't necessarily give you the layout of a specific ship. However, given the fact that you spent some time at warp, you knew which ship you were coming to. You then spent some time in a shuttle coming over. There's been more than adequate time for you to sort of gen up and read up about
We did
the
look
ship.
at a map briefly, didn't we?
I think-
to find out where.
Yeah, I think we mentioned
stellar
last
cartography
episode that you would know, even if not specifically, roughly where these things are.
Okay.
And that's how you would know that with the turbo lifts down, you can't go directly to the bridge. You have to go through Jeffrey's tubes, climb a few ladders, and go in basically via the captain's ready room.
Okay, in which case, I'm going to put the knife that I got, which you'll have to message me on Discord or something like that, because I typed it into my sheet and then forgot to save it like an idiot.
Not to
So
worry.
I know I have it, but I'm going to put that in my boot.
Yeah.
So that it's out of reach for her. I'll throw over my shoulder, and if we go into a Jeffrey's tube, we'll tie her up or lock her to some like pipe down there or something like that. Probably something super uncomfortable.
Okay, you are carrying her over your shoulder. Obviously, that disadvantages you quite substantially, as you would imagine it does.
Understood. Understood.
What is your intention when you... So, assuming you're all making your way to the bridge, and feel free to shout if not.
We carry on as a party, I think. We carry on as a team.
Okay. Most of the journey is going to be through narrow Jeffrey's tubes.
In which case, Commander, should we leave her here? There's no way. realistically, we cannot carry her all the way through the tunnels and then up and down ladders to make it to the bridge if we're going to have to go through.
She's got probably a good 45 minutes to an hour unconscious.
Okay, I don't want to keep having to like resurrect her and knock her out again every time we want some sort of information regarding who she is and what she's here. I'd be tempted to find out something about at least her, where she's here, but I strongly doubt that any sort of Romulan Ulan is likely to just fess up all the details of why they're here just because there's 4 Federation officers standing over them and they don't have their knife and disruptor to hand.
So yeah, without interrogation, sir. No.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not here to beat the living daylights out of them to find out. I don't have time for that either. We need to get to the bridge and see what is going on. Yes.
No, that was out of game. That was out of game.
Okay. So yeah, Mr. Bosh, if you think that the drugs you've administered will keep her out for a considerable time, Mr. Varren, if you could just basically see if you can tie her or restrain her to something just on the off chance, and we'll make our way to the bridge without encumbrance.
Was that? Wait, sorry.
Tie her up.
I thought you were speaking to Bosh.
Tie her up.
Oh yeah, tie her up. Absolutely. Do I have something to tie her up with?
Her own
If not,
sash or something. She's got something.
Yeah, exactly. I will tear off a part of her outfit or whatever that she's wearing and tie her up with that, and I'll make sure that she cannot like immobilize her wrists and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, and for decency's sake, she was wearing a vest under her material, you know.
Tearing off her clothing for that
top.
reason. Jesus.
Okay, and in attempting to tie her, again, are you doing this in a rush? Are you doing it, or are you taking your time to ensure it's done properly?
Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely take my time to ensure it's done properly. The last time she woke up, she not only went for one weapon, she went for 2 weapons. And not only am I going to take my time to ensure that it's done properly and she cannot escape, but also search her for other weapons that she could possibly have. Or things like if she has a razor blade just randomly on her that she could cut herself out of.
Okay, you don't find anything else, only the knife and the disruptor,
Okay.
which you've already taken.
Gotcha.
And other than that, it's a fairly standard Ulan uniform.
Okay.
You can indeed tie her up. I would like you to give me a control and security check, please.
Okay, it's going to be...
I'm going to make this a difficulty 2.
Okay. Control and security...
I'll explain why I'm making it difficult 2 is because you're using clothing which is not designed for this.
Okay. I have focuses in infiltration, espionage, and survival. Maybe survival for the idea of tearing off clothing and making rope or something along those lines.
Do you know what? I'll allow survival because I think that'd give you a good knowledge of knots and things.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So it'd be an 8 and a 5, so... Again, I'm not great with numbers, so I'm not going to call it out. I'm assuming that'd be a 13.
That's 13, 13 to meet or roll under.
It's not great. My control skill kind of blows, but
2 successes.
Ooh. All right, it's a 6. Which using survival, that would be
2 successes.
Is that a double? 2 successes?
Yep.
Okay. That's good because I rolled a 17 on the other die.
Okay. But, you feel comfortable and confident.
All right. Thank you.
That it's
I'm scared about that.
Should she wake up?
13's like right in the middle. I was just like, ooh.
Yeah. Okay. And you abandon her next to the Jeffries tube that you're about to go in.
Okay.
Off we go, Mr. Varren. You lead the way, but keep your phaser out.
Stun, correct, Commander?
It's set for stun, yes, and keep it ready because I don't want to come around the corner and come across half a ship's worth of Romulans again.
Yeah. Is her disruptor different than the phaser in any sort of mechanical sense?
Yes, you get different abilities with the disruptor than you get with the phaser.
Okay.
It's a little nastier, but it's not as flexible.
I can tell you.
Yes, please.
It is a vicious one.
Okay.
Yeah, vicious one.
Vicious one.
So when you roll the effect dice, if you hit a 5 or a 6, that counts as a hit, or as a damage. But because 5 and 6s are counted as effects, vicious one means for every effect you get an additional damage. So basically 5s and 6s count as 2 damage rather than just 1.
But can a disruptor be set to stun?
There is no stun setting on the disruptor.
No.
In which case, I will hang on to the disruptor, but knowing that it's against Starfleet regulations, actually, I wouldn't hang on to it. I would hand it over to my commander.
Oh,
That's very big of you. I will take that, and we'll hand that to the captain when we get back.
Okay. In which case, I will set my phaser to stun, and I will take point, having a vague understanding of the Jeffries tubes and where to go. So we'll do that.
So leading the way, we have a very, very different Lieutenant Commander Varren.
Started to understand how this game works a little bit more. And then I work for Starfleet.
It's fantastic, and I'm not going to suggest you might be a changeling at all. Oh, you're not familiar with that yet. You've got that to come. Yeah. Anyway, who is going next? Because this is a one person at a time going through Jeffries tubes.
Okay, I will. I'll follow Mr. Varren, and then I think we'll have. I think we'll say, Davok, you're behind me, and Doctor, with your newfound pistoling skills, you can bring up the rear.
Aye, sir.
Keep that. And if everyone just keep your phasers handy, put them out and set on stun.
Yes.
Just for shorthand in the game, do you want to keep with that configuration every time there's a sort of one person at a time thing?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, at the moment. Yeah,
so it's me, and then what's the order after?
That's it.
Then Eelin,
Okay.
then Davok, then myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Always
Just
keep the
moving my
wizard
little
in the
paper
middle.
models of us all into that seat.
Fantastic. So after some toing and froing, once or twice you've ended up taking the wrong direction and then thought, hang on, no, it's over that way. Oh no, we need to be up another floor. That kind of thing. Eventually you do make your way. Lee, you would see this first. You pop open the hatch and stick your head through into what appears to be the captain's ready room. It's quite small and cramped, but the antique nautical instruments throughout it gives it a sense of sort of stateliness about it. For example, there's a sextant and brass compass,
Which is useless in space.
It is, but it's there for flavour more than anything. But they're set, for example, they're set on a pedestal next to the window. And there is something else that would be utterly useless on a starship, is a large wooden brass barometer hanging on the wall. And maybe a little bit more useful, there is a celestial navigation globe sitting on the desk.
That's a little bit better.
And yes, you sort of...
But the room is empty, as so far as I can tell?
Yes, all of that. Yes, Chris, that's exactly what I meant. A sextant. Yes. That's...
It's going to be a party, boys. No, in which case I will relay this information quietly to Wraal directly behind me and say, it appears empty. This is Captain's ready room. Happy to proceed forward on your order.
Okay, yeah, let's move in and see what's in there.
Okay.
In which case I'll raise the hatch and I'll come in quietly if possible.
Yep, and you can do so indeed. you can stand up, and it's nice after spending a bit of time in the Jeffries tubes to sort of be able to stretch and flex a bit. And yeah, you're now stood in the captain's ready room.
So, other than the brass instruments and the useless nautical equipment from, like, literally 400 years ago, is there anything else in this room? Is there papers, a desk, or is there anything about what they were doing out here?
There's a desk with, like I say, this celestial navigation globe on it. There's also a terminal on the desk. There's a three-seater settee on one side of the wall, but overall it's quite a small room. It's not a room for holding parties in.
Yeah, the Oberth class is only slightly smaller than our own Defying class anyway, in terms of size. They're quite tiny for science vessels. That being said, Davok, can you access the computer from the terminal in the captain's ready room? I would imagine that you could.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go up to the terminal and have a look at it. Is it working?
It is not. It's offline at the moment, but you believe you may be able to. But sorry, it's not operational right at this moment. Not so much through loss of power, but through a lockout that appears to be on it.
Oh, would I know what would have caused the lockout, or can I investigate that?
No, you know what causes a lockout is somebody locking it. It's like putting in a password, basically.
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't look like we can use this terminal, Commander.
You do think it might be possible for you to break the lockout?
Oh, okay. In that case, I would like to try and break the lockout. I do have a focus in computers, if that assists me.
Excellent. The focus in computers will definitely help.
If I assist as a command or as a sort of a command rank officer in getting into the ship's computer, if I assist Davok with this, I've got the advisor talent, which means I can assist with my command skill and allow Davok one reroll.
Excellent use of that. So, with Commander Wraal standing over your shoulder, telling you where you're going wrong and being a backseat driver.
Just never leave me alone.
No, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try that.
Try password.
Captain's name was Kelly. Try Kelly as a password.
Okay, what I need you to do, Davok.
Didn't Commander Kelly have a cat? Try Spot.
Does anyone know his mother's maiden name?
No, but I can start guessing. Let's start with the A's.
Right.
In which language?
I need you to make
a
control or reason. I'm going to leave that one up to you. And engineering roll. This is, and I'm going to say this right up front, this is a difficulty 3. However, you do get your focus of computers helping.
Okay, cool. So both my control and reason are 10, and engineering is 4. So 14.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were adding this together.
I rolled 2 successes. I've got 2 11s.
2 11s, neither of which is under your...
engineering, no.
You used engineering, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. You want to use my advice to re-roll 1 and see if you can get it to a 5 or
now,
less.
Before you do this, I'm going to make a ruling here. If it rolls poorly, you have to live with that. You can just spend a momentum to buy another success.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm on a roll here. I think I've got this.
Okay. Got 5. Okay.
Yeah, and let's spend the momentum.
Nope.
And I rolled a 5. So, 3rd success.
You get your 3rd success. So it takes you a little while. But as a Vulcan, it's difficult to distract you. And, of course, you have an affinity with computers.
I'm going to give it the basics of a CMO password, like the kind of the format for that, so it might help her to find that last one.
Yeah, absolutely. And eventually you do manage to get past. So the systems have been very, very heavily damaged. Most of the files are either corrupted or lost. However, you can access 2 of the captain's logs. The first one is a supplemental, and as you access it, the captain's... I'm assuming you want to access them. Sorry.
Yes, Commander, there's captain's logs here.
Let's play them back, please, Mr. Davok. Let's hear what he says.
Play.
Okay, you play the first one, and an image of John Kelly, but looking rather more alive than when you last saw him, comes onto the screen. There's a bit of static, and it's a little bit crackly, but other than that, it seems fine. He says, Captain's log supplemental. The project failed. As soon as we engaged the warp drive, all hell broke loose. Systems are down all over the ship. We're trapped in a localized subspace interference field of our own making. Communications can't penetrate the interference. We're helpless out here, on our own, until my chief engineer and these theoretical boys from Utopia Planitia Fleet Yards can fix the problem. That is the first one. Do you wish to listen to the second one?
Yeah, let's play all, please. Let's hear the rest of it. Let's give me more information.
Okay, as you start the second one, again, Captain Kelly appears on the screen. Again, you've got this static cutting across it and a little bit of a crackle. But this time, he looks rather more wild-eyed, a little bit more frantic, and you can hear the tension in his voice as he says, Captain's log supplemental. We've been boarded by Romulans. There's something strange about their sub-commander. He's different somehow. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it. And it cuts out there.
Mm.
In which case, Varren is going to go to the... I'm assuming there's only one exit?
There is indeed. There is a door in to the side that you would know leads to the bridge.
In which case, I'm going to put my shoulder on the wall next to that door. I'm not going to open the door, but I don't know how Starship doors are, if they are exactly what they look like in the shows, which means particle board. But if I'm sure they're probably soundproof on an actual Starship, but in the sense that I'm going to get ready to move into it, but I don't want to trigger the door opening.
Actually, you would know that the doors on a starship are partially sound dampening, but they're deliberately not soundproofed, so that, for example, you know, if someone rings the bell to come in, you need to be able to hear on the other side when they say, come in.
Well, in which case, I would like to listen to the other side, like be ready with my phaser, but have a listen to see if I hear anything on the other side. I can't speak Romulan or anything like that, but I'll know the 4 of us are the only friends we have. So if there's another voice that isn't Romulan, you know, it's probably a friend.
Okay, give me an insight and security roll, please. This is a difficulty one.
Okay. Would espionage or infiltration work for this?
Yes, I'll let espionage.
It's kind of sneaky.
Yeah, insight is not great, guys. That's going to be a 14 that I have to roll.
That's good.
First one is a 10, so that's 2 successes, and the next one is a 7, so 3.
Oh, right.
Okay.
3 successes against 2. So
wait, no, it would be...
It's 2.
It's only 2, it's not 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great, because I have a 9.
You still get yourselves another momentum. You are now at maximum momentum. Just so you're aware. Yes, you strain and listen. You can hear something, but it is just the hum of terminals. Then suddenly you hear a spark, but you recognise it as the sound of equipment malfunctioning. You hear no voices, no movement.
I'm going to mention this to the commander and also say if systems are damaged, it's possible there was a fight in there. We may have damage to certain systems, anything that we want to know, but we'll have a better chance on the other side.
Well, if they were boarded by Romulans, it's fairly safe to assume that Romulans, one of their first objectives was to take the bridge.
Yes.
Davok, is there any way we can get with the computer access you've got? Is there any way we can scan the ship and differentiate Romulan life signs, see what sort of boarding party we're looking at on board here?
It looks pretty garbled at the moment. I don't know if I can try and get some more access out of this.
Nothing on internal sensors. No problem.
You've
Can we
milked it
send?
dry.
Marvelous. Do we have any form of internal ship communication in the from the computer systems?
No.
Can you get anything from that?
No,
Nothing,
we
right?
would
So we
need to get
can't
to
send a
another
message. We can't send a message to whoever is waiting for us in stellar cartography.
Oh, I have. Oh, go ahead, Bosh, first.
No, I was saying, of course, someone messaged us. That
We
had
can't send them a
slipped my
text to the nearest setting.
And I would imagine this would be closer to shuttles or something along those lines, but is there any sort of security in the bridge for a situation like this? Would there be a locker in the captain's area or something like that? Something the Romulans may have missed.
I think normally you have personal weapons either in the armory or on you, and any security officers on board the ship.
Our comm badges will work between us on the ship. Might it be worth? I think they do. They do.
So, when Commander Wraal tried to contact the ship, the comm badges just were not functioning. You were getting a weird boop, boop, boop noise from it.
The subspace field's affecting all communications.
Yes,
isn't
it is. And the way that comm badges work, I mean, you would all know this basically anyway, is the message doesn't relay from one comm badge to another. The message goes to the core computer of the ship and then back to the other person's badge.
So magic.
Yes. You're always communicating with the ship, even though it might end up getting forwarded.
All your communications will be logged in the ship's core computer and the ship's log anyway.
Yeah.
Big brother just trying to keep an eye on us.
Facebook.
Deep state.
We have no need for money.
Obviously,
I'm trying to be authentic American right now.
No, obviously, your comm badges are currently sort of paired with the Livingston. Because
So they're not.
So if the Livingston can't contact this ship and we can't contact the Livingston, then there's no reason our combats would work because they have to go to Livingston to go to you guys. Got it.
So following that logically, can we reconnect our comm badges to this ship so we can communicate with each other?
It's theoretically possible. You estimate it would take about an hour per comm badge to attempt to do it.
Don't know whether that's.
Don't think we have. That's an excellent idea, Mr. Davok. I don't think we have time to sit around for 4
That would
hours.
take too long.
So, would it be advisable to for one of us to head to Astrometrics to at least explain where we're going?
Well, I think what we should probably do now is check the bridge cautiously and see what's going on there, and then from there see if we can head to stellar cartography and find out who our mysterious benefactor or not may be.
Yeah.
So if we, I'll go and stand with Mr. Varren at the door, and we'll sort of give it the whole combat and open the door.
Varren just looks at you strangely and is just like, whatever.
Or you can just open the door and go in. Mr. Varren, go and check.
Yeah, and Varren's going to walk through with his phaser out.
Bosh just wants to quickly turn to Commander Wraal. 193. It's never too late to fire the staff.
Before Varren opens the door, he's going to, if this is the last fucking thing I hear. And he opens the door. That's when he opens the door.
Okay, so Varren, you draw your phaser. You might double check that it's set on stun. And
I just spin the wheel and hope for the best.
And
basically, one only has stun settings.
So knowing that these are automatic doors, you've been standing sort of to the side of it with your back to the wall, and you spin on your foot,
and the door doesn't open.
and nothing happens.
God,
because you'll
damn
remember
it, Stu.
that the power is down.
Doors.
Bosh just says 193.
Fortunately, yes, Usher's gone.
No, I was just slamming my head on the desk.
But you mean
Sorry.
the door?
The door.
Fortunately, there is an emergency hand actuator in the wall panel.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
You've got a speciality in those.
I
See,
don't.
if this doesn't work, I am outright killing the next Romulan I see. And I'm going to switch it to stuff. I'm going to switch it to murder, and I'm going to kill him, and then I'll just bring in my new character later once I'm fired. Yes, I will use the hand actuator and then go through the door.
Okay, you yank the hand actuator down, and the doors hiss open. The bridge is empty. The view screen is awash with static. The ops, con, science and tactical stations are all showing completely blank. They all appear to be offline.
Where is the... Oh, sorry.
I was
Go
going to say, whoever's accessed these systems here are long gone. And the Romulans appear to have locked out the controls.
Right. Funny thing that whoever's down in stellar cartography may have been a bridge officer who's, basically either locked out or secured the computer systems here and done a runner. That's probably why he left the message.
Could have. They left us a message in the engine or in the shuttle bay as well, didn't they?
Yeah, knowing that's the only place we'd be able to get in because the subspace interference affecting the
So there
transport.
might be ship systems just locked out of these systems. I have no idea how that works.
Well, you can transfer what's left of ship systems to individual places. So I wonder if they've moved everything to stellar cartography because that's where they were going to go and hide and hole up.
I'm going to go stand by the...
themselves in there.
Is there another... Obviously, there's another exit to... There are only two... There's one exit, and then there's one thing from the captain's whatever.
Yeah, there'd be
door.
there'd be a turbo lift access at the back of the bridge usually.
There is a turbo lift access at the back of the bridge.
If turbo lifts are down, then
They are.
the only entrance that we would know of would be the one that we came through.
Pretty much.
In which case, I'll probably go back there and stand watch.
I mean, you can always open the turbo lift doors and jump.
Very long way down.
Yeah, maybe no.
Yeah, but it might be quicker than those tunnels. Like if you climb down.
Could be hundreds of feet.
I think from here we'll probably proceed as per the original. But we've checked the bridge. There's not much we can do here. Davok, are you able to see if there's anything more you can get out of these sets more than the captain's ready room ones?
Yeah. Is there signs of like a fight here at all?
Yes, you can see some scorch marks around the area. Let me just...
Wait, this ship is smaller than the Defiant, right?
It's marginally. They're both classed as basically the same sort of scales size.
All right, so even if there was a turbolift, the Defiant is 98 feet tall. So worst case scenario, it's got to be under 100 feet. Not that you can survive this. It's not D&D, but it's worth mentioning that if we had to tie a rope or had to go down something like that or climb, it wouldn't be like we're jumping through the Enterprise.
Well, actually, there is quite a difference because although they're roughly the same sort of, if you think in terms of square footage, they're probably about the same, or well, give or take. Where the Defiant is quite flat and wide, the Alcubierre is much taller and slimmer.
Okay.
So actually, no, it's got far more decks
Okay.
than the Defiant.
So let's not jump down the tube.
Yeah, I think there's nothing on the bridge more than the evidence of it having been taken and the remnants of the computer systems. I still think our option is to head towards stellar cartography and find out who is there that left us the message, and suspiciously maybe has switched all the computer systems certainly out of this area and locked everything out.
Yeah.
Although, having been boarded, it's likely that the captain would have activated some sort of security protocol to secure the computer systems the moment he realised Romulans were on board. But yeah, I think we'll head towards stellar cartography, and if that means back in the tunnels, Mr. Varren.
Yeah.
Question in the front.
I'm going to ask Davok just because as a security officer, I would imagine I might know this, so I'm going to ask Stu. So it is canon that I'm a dumbass and ask the science officer this. Is there any way to download a map, like a portable map of this, whether it's like something that is holographic and pops out or something along those lines? But just so we don't,
we'd have probably got some sort of like layout of the ship on a tricorder, and we've all got tricorders.
That's what I'm asking, is because earlier it was we saw a layout of it, but we had to remember the layout and anything. Is there any way to download an actual schematic of the ship so that when it comes to something like this in the future, if we go to some place that we don't know, we can actually have it on us instead of having to remember it, which is...
Yes. Yeah. So obviously you didn't know it was going to be empty. You didn't know that there wasn't going to be anyone to ask. But yes, in future cases, as long as you've got the schematics already, then yes, there's no reason why you can't download them into your tricorder before going.
In the future. Got it. All right. Going head first into the tunnels. Let's go.
Same order.
Same order. And yes, you had your way back through the Jeffries tunnels, down a few floors, and make your way towards stellar cartography. Eventually you get there. As you approach, you can see that the door to stellar cartography is already half open, and as you approach and peer inside, you see a young Starfleet engineer sitting at the controls. A star chart of known space flickers on the large spherical screen. But soon, the screen fills with static and then goes dark. You hear him bash a fist onto the console and says, "Almost had it that time," this engineer says to himself. And then he jolts and looks up, and turns around and sees you in the doorway. And you look into the face of Eric Stallman as he says, "You made it! Boy, am I glad to see you!" And that's probably a good time for a break.
Yeah.
So we will be back in 6 minutes. Don't go anywhere. See you soon.
Yeah, but that's also where the bridge is.
And we are
Well,
live.
the bridge is up. The bridge is actually higher.
Debating how we... No, it's fine. Debating away.
No,
how we
I
get
need to get out of the red
defiant
alert.
shit.
That was a joke.
That's fine. Well, yeah, how we feeling after that break? Oh, Usher's gone. Oh, we've got red alert
No,
at least.
I was just getting out of the thing. We don't
yeah.
want that one. We don't want this one. No, wait, where's there? Sorry.
How are we feeling after our breaks? Are we...
I
Ready to punch the engineer?
Was surprised seeing Eric.
feel like I'm gonna do a sleight of hand check and grab that disruptor.
Well, let's dive straight back in then. So, you have made your way to stellar cartography, and there inside appears to be Eric Stallman, who you last saw being ejected from Starfleet for cheating on your Kobayashi Maru test. You do take in a few things as you see him, though. First of all, you can see an ensign rank on his collar. Also, just taking the briefest of moments, you realise actually it looks quite, not really heavy set, but where Eric is very, very skinny, he has a little bit more meat on his bones, and Eric's wild ginger hair seems to be somewhat tamer. Given it was quite a few years ago as well, he doesn't seem quite as old as you would have expected if you were to give that some thought. But he has turned to you and said, "You made it! Boy, am I glad to see you."
Eric, what on earth is going on here?
Yeah, does he have a reaction to seeing us?
Oh,
He looks shocked when Eelin refers to him as Eric. It says, "I'm not Eric. I'm
his
Derek."
brother.
oh no, he's not got a twin brother, has he?
But he's not.
Twin, but
As you look a bit more close, it's clearly not a twin. But there's a strong, really strong family resemblance. Do you know my brother?
do you cheat as well?
Oh, he looks really forlorn all of a sudden. It says,
Family secrets out.
So you've obviously met Eric. He's something of the black sheep of the... Look, this is hardly the time and place. We're in a bit of an emergency.
You have Eric's number.
Yes. No.
Ensign, get to the point.
Did you leave us the message in the shuttle bay?
I did, and I'm so glad you found it and spotted it and have come. I'm also the one who opened the shuttle bay door for you as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
I've been trying to manage things from in here, but obviously, like the Romulans have taken over, they've done so much damage to the computer systems.
Before we
it's
go
a bloody
further,
nightmare.
does that door that we just came through close all the way?
You believe?
I mean, if we're going to be in, Commander, if we're going to be in here, we need to have this place secure.
Do you want
So
to secure? Do you want to secure the room, Mr. Varren? That would probably be a good idea whilst we're in here.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, you make the room as secure as you tactically think is wise.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you believe you can push the doors shut.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to attempt to do?
Oh God, I'm so sick of fucking door. Yes, I'm gonna shut the door. That should be an easy task.
Okay, give me a fitness and security check. Difficulty one.
Well, then it's got to be a 17 or beneath,
Wow.
and that's a 4, which is underneath my security and fitness. So that's 2 successes and a 14. So
Okay,
3
brilliant. Well, yeah, you don't get any extra momentum because you're already at maximum. But yes, you managed to seal the doors with a very satisfying clunk. You feel that
did
they're
something right. I'm just gonna
relatively secure. You're getting the hang of the doors now. It's good.
That will be your new focus. Doors.
So how much do you know?
Well, we know that Romulans have boarded the ship. Obviously, we've met some of them, but all the computer systems in the captain's ready room and the bridge seem to be either damaged or rerouted. Have you moved any of the computer systems to here?
I've been trying to reroute stuff down, but I'm really struggling. So some Romulans over in main engineering, they've looked out the systems. I think. I mean, we can try and override them from here, but it's not going to be easy.
Davok would like to go up to the terminal and see what he can do.
It's worth noting as well, Commander. You wouldn't have noticed a Romulan vessel on your way here, obviously.
No, we scanned. There was nothing in the area. Where did they come from?
Well, it's not so much where they came from, but I mean, you must have been very, very curious to wonder why there's Romulans on board but no ship. So what happened after the Romulans beamed over? The ship was called away on a very urgent distress call. I've been trying to route where that distress call's been coming from. That's one of the reasons I thought stellar cartography might be quite useful. But I thought you ought to be aware of that, Commander.
Right. So the Romulans essentially are stranded on board this ship, almost as you are, but not as we are, because we've got a ship outside that we can't communicate with. Great.
Could that be a ploy, Commander? Just thinking worst case scenario.
That is true. Well, I'm sure that whatever Eric heard, new hench Eric heard.
Excuse
Derek.
me, but it's Derek. Yes.
Sorry, Derek.
Shut up, Derek.
Who do you think I am, Wesley?
It's very difficult to call you anything else but Eric. The similarity is remarkable. I'm sure whatever you heard. Where did you hear? Actually, yes. Where did you hear this?
I was monitoring the communications at the time.
Their communications. Okay.
That's right.
Well, how are you monitoring their communications if all communications are down due to the subspace anomalies and all that?
They were having to transmit by a binumeral code pattern. Basically, it's like a message in text rather than speaking like we do. But they do it sort of on a numeric pattern that I was able to sort of infiltrate and get. Same way that I messaged you in the shuttle bay.
So the Romulans have figured out some way of getting through the subspace interference, though only to be able to communicate in text format.
Can you sorry, this is Davok might be able to answer this, but can you reverse that to talk to the Livingston?
You would actually, Davok. To know this, you'd have to spend a momentum.
Yeah, I was going to ask, Commander, if you feel like that's...
Let's spend a momentum to get some more information here.
Okay. Yes. You know that, and so a couple of quick questions with Derek about how this text communication works. You know that the Livingston would also have to be transmitting and receiving on the same frequency without setting it up physically. So basically, if someone went in the shuttle back to the Livingston and set it up their end, then you can talk to each other. But just one side doing it, it's got to be set as transmitter and receiver, if that makes sense.
Right, okay. So I wouldn't be able to... So I would assume that I would know sort of what our normal frequency was, so I wouldn't be able to attune it to that on the hope that the captain would be trying to reach us.
Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of.
So yeah, so we can't do that. But you said about this, you were tracking the ship. That's what you were currently...
Well, I was trying to work out where they've gone. Now, I reckon I can do it from here, but we either need to bypass the lockout, which, like I say, is really difficult, or I reckon if we can reroute the power from engineering to stellar cartography. You probably saw as you approached, I was just about getting it there, and then the screen shut off because there's inadequate power. So I reckon one of those two ways should just about do it.
Okay.
Right. So we need to go to engineering, where there may be some more Romulans. There's definitely going to be Romulans in engineering. It's where the power source is.
How many Romulans, Commander? Would you ask Eric?
Derek.
Shut up, Derek. Would you ask Eric how many Romulans he's seen? Individual Romulans, not just as a whole. If you see one running by, I don't trust him because his brother's Eric.
Yeah. Have you been able to get user systems to figure out how many are still on board? Presumably they left at least some sort of prize crew on board this.
I haven't, I'm afraid, Commander. You can spend a momentum to try and ascertain how many Romulans you think it probably is, though.
No, well, I think we'll do that because that will take us.
Yeah,
we've got some to use. Let's get some information.
We know of 3.
Okay.
There's definitely 2 in a Jeffrey's tube somewhere.
Mm.
So
One
you
unconscious and one
reckon that there is somewhere between 6 and 10 for this kind of mission, for the fact that they've been left by the ship. And you also know that, to overpower a ship, you're going to need more than 3 or 4. Yeah, you reckon?
Also, then
you're
also going to have to. Yeah, you also have to be split up as well, so you can't just sit as one big massive lump in one area. You'll have to. That's why we only came across 4 in a corridor. Right. So, Derek, it's going to be useful to you then if we get to engineering and manage to get you some more power, so you can figure out where that Romulan ship went.
Well, we can reroute power from here, I reckon.
Oh.
You think we can do that? Okay. That will save us a trip. Is there anything you need us to? Is there anything we can do to help out?
Buried the lead there, Eric, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I reckon. If you can help me sort of reroute the power, that should just about do it.
Okay. Well, you're the engineer, Derek. You tell us what it is you need to do.
Well,
you need us
sir, you have to bear in mind I'm only an ensign, and this was my first voyage. I'll do the best I can, but I'm definitely going to need some help.
Oh,
Right.
don't you worry, Derek. I am here.
And so yes, Davok to the rescue, definitely. Davok, can you assist Mr. Derek here, because and also go steady on him, because I think he might be on the verge.
Right.
Before you do any other bits, is there just double check whether there's hollow emitters in engineering?
Would you like to spend a momentum to find out?
It's going to take us down to 2, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if the
I'm okay with that. I'm trying to keep track in my head.
More information. Yeah, everyone gets to. It's a group call. Everyone gets to use from it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just trying to keep track.
There are hollow emitter, or there are holographic, a form of hollow emitter in stellar cartography. Sorry, in engineering.
No, engineering, yes.
In engineering, no, there are no hollow emitters in engineering. Because you spent a memento, I'm also happy to say that even if there were, with the power systems down the way they are, they would not be operational.
Yeah, basically, the ship's on like emergency batteries almost, isn't it?
So to clarify,
Needs a jump start.
we need a jump start, but we have to do that from engineering. We can't do it from here. It's not anything that Davok or Wraal or anyone can do from here. He wants to stay here, and he wants us to go to engineering. Is that correct?
Well, no. He currently he just wants your help.
He thinks he can jumpstart it from here?
No, in ascertaining where this Romulan ship's gone, why it's been called away the way it has, because it does strike you as really odd that it would be called away and leave people behind.
It would have to be quite urgent for them to leave a prize like a testbed Federation starship behind, and just you'd think they'd be towing it back with them as opposed to just leaving.
And if it's something that's worrying them, it's something that should worry us.
Yes.
But you also know from talking to Derek that probably the most of the remaining Romulans will be in engineering, because that's where everything's been routed to.
Yeah, but okay.
So do we move some power from engineering into stellar cartography here to help with this investigation? Are we able to do that? Davok, can you look at the set he's working on and see if you can figure out any way of getting more power to it? Because I think that's what he's lacking at the moment.
Yes.
Will they know where it's been moved?
I'm pretty certain the Romulans probably know there's someone on board if all the all the computer systems were routed from the bridge.
I realize that, Commander. I'm asking is, if we move it to stellar cryptography, will they know that the power has been moved to stellar cryptography? Because in which case you're giving them a direct arrow to where we are, and Bosh, because I could use his gun, needs to hang out of this door because they're going to come here.
The main systems display and engineering will most likely show where power is being routed, if there is any power left, even if it's just like the battery power. So if we just basically supping the last drops of it into this room.
All right. Just to clarify then, if we do this, you are sending them here.
Mm-hmm.
That's your tactical
That is my tactical assessment. Yes, Captain.
And it's probably very wise.
Commander.
Davok, hearing this exchange, you would know that it is possible to disguise where the rerouting is taking place, to basically make it look like a false signal that it's being rerouted somewhere else. However, that will increase the difficulty of doing it.
So what I could do then is direct them, so make it look like the power is being directed to the opposite side of the ship to try and draw them away from engineering and split them up a little bit. That seems like a sensible way to proceed.
Good idea. Carry on, Mr. Davok.
Cool. What do I need for this then?
So, with the increased difficulty, in fact, do you know what? I'm going to make that no, I'm not going to make it a different roll. No, it's going to be increased difficulty. I'm going to need a reason and engineering roll. This is going to be now difficulty 4.
Oh,
you have a determination, right?
We probably need to, we need to probably buy some dice to get that pool up a bit higher. So you're rolling 2 already.
Yeah.
We can buy an extra 1 into the pool for starters with a bit of momentum.
But you can also use their determination to roll a crit, right?
So before that, though, I do have a focus in computers. So would that assist me with this?
If you're using, I would say, well, it's GM's choice, but usually if you're using something that to do with computers and sort of hacking systems, that would seem you'd be drawn to that.
Okay.
Computers will not help you in this instance.
That is fair. Okay, cool.
It's more engineering than computing.
No, I get you. Okay,
so
yes.
We've got 2 dice for starters. So if we buy another dice in with a point of momentum, we have 1 spare to do that with.
Certainly. You currently have 3 momentum.
Okay,
so
we'll
spend 1 for another dice.
Okay. Now we can buy more in. We can either, if we buy more with momentum, it's going to cost more. So our second momentum purchase costs 2 momentum, not 1. But we can buy another one by giving the games master 1 point of threat to buy 1 more dice. So his threat can go up and we get another dice for it without burning our momentum.
There is also succeed at cost. Even if you fail a thing, you can still choose to succeed, but with a consequence of something bad happening.
The door opens up wide again.
All doors shut in Usher's face. So we've got 3 dice in the pot already. Do we want to add a 4th one? Because we have 2 successes.
Yes, I could roll under my security and obtain 2. So can we add momentum when we need to, or do we have to do that all at the start?
At the point, what we do, how it works is you to build your dice pool to do the action, you spend stuff to get your dice, and then you roll them.
And then do it. Okay, so in that case...
Just so you're clear, Amy, you don't, because I'm not counting computers, rolling under your security does not give you 2 successes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you are buying another dice.
Oh, engineering.
Which is, how many dice are we rolling total?
There should be 4 in there now.
Then we need 4 successes.
You do.
Yeah, so
every single
your
dice
target,
has to be a success.
Yeah, but that just needs to be under your target number, which, so you said it was reason and engineering?
Yeah, so 14.
14, yeah.
And engineering.
That's still really tough. Wait, I know it's already started, Stu, but before you say anything, if it fails, they're going to know we're here, right?
We'll have to find out. Depends how it fails.
Oh, that's a yes. Got it. Bosh, if you wouldn't mind coming to this door and readying your phaser, set to I don't care, we're going to need it soon, possibly.
I got 3 successes.
With 3 successes, you do manage to reroute power. However, you have not managed to disguise where the power has been rerouted.
Couldn't quite do it, Commander.
Well, excellent work, Mr. Davok. As I expected,
Excellent work.
is not what you're expected to do, but you pulled it out of the bag as a Starfleet officer should.
Okay.
Yes.
And as you're
Good
in
work.
stellar cartography, which is a great big holographic spherical display around, the whole thing flickers and flutters into life as Ensign Stallman eagerly inputs the coordinates that he's been waiting to put in. The location lights up on the star chart and Derek whistles in appreciation. "Now that's unexpected," he says. The signal that the Romulan ship, which Derek tells you was called the Decius, the signal that the Decius received came from a Klingon armoured space station, Kortar. The station straddles the edge of the Klingon Empire and unexplored space.
So the Romulans vanished off in the direction of a Klingon space station.
Bosh, any ideas? Because I'm sure you know a guy. That's what I'm
Yeah. I don't think I know anyone at that station.
Well, no,
Gas
just
traders
the
or-
idea of why a Romulan ship would be urged off to Klingon station in the middle of nowhere, essentially.
You do
There-
not know anyone at that station, Bosh.
No, and they're still at peace, aren't they?
Yes.
As far as we know, but we haven't been getting news updates since we've been here.
No, I mean, they're not really ones for humanitarian efforts, so I doubt that there's. Then I doubt they were. Well, they may have been answering a distress call, but not to help them.
They would do it to their own advantage, for their own advantage only, if it's a Romulans, I would suspect. But if it's a distress call, it's probably some Romulans attacking the space station and getting their backsides handed to them.
Awful lot of assumptions. Anyways,
We shouldn't hang around here too long.
Yeah.
No.
Ensign Eric, can you get us out of here now?
Derek, sir.
Derek.
Well, where do you suggest we go, sir? Like I say, I reckon the Romulans are in engineering, so if you're going to take back the ship, I reckon that's the place to go.
That's true, but they said the warp space. The captain's log said that this warp, the experimental drive essentially had failed, and we've got a dead ship here full of Romulans. So we can either try and take out what remaining Romulans are left, or with the information that a Romulan team came and tried to steal a Federation vessel, get back to the Livingston and set a course to try and hunt down this Romulan warbird and see where it's gone. And why.
We came in through the doors, didn't we?
You did.
Yeah, shuttle bay doors.
No, as in to this, to
Yes.
Astromet...
Yeah.
Stellar
Cartography.
cartography.
yeah. Is Astrometrics in this as well, or is that some other franchise?
No, astrometrics is a thing, but it sort of feeds from stellar cartography.
Is there a Jeffries tube way out, or some kind of crawl space out of here?
Ooh, it's a good idea.
There is a Jeffries tube exit, but you know that for main engineering, you're going to have to go down quite a few levels.
Hey.
And the best bet, unless you want to take like a really long time over it, is going to be to climb down the turbo shaft.
Commander, permission to speak my mind.
Always, Mr. Varren. I value your tactical insight.
This is purely tactical, but the Romulans have nowhere to go. We know that the warp drive here does not work. We have not been able to update the captain with issues as to what's going on, or where we now know that the Romulan ship has gone to, and the possibility of going on there. They're stuck here on a derelict ship that is done. If we can get to our ship, to our shuttle, and make it back to our ship, we can discuss this while watching this ship and not having to worry about time or effort or anything. They can't do anything here. The bridge is ruined. So there's no point in fighting them currently. We'd just be wasting lives.
That was exactly my thinking. And so far, it seems we've found what appears to be the only surviving crew member of this ship. This now has become from an investigation into a recovery operation. The ship is recoverable, but not movable.
Yes.
And we have a survivor to rescue. So I think the correct course of action, whilst the brave course of action may well be to go charging into the engineering section with phasers drawn, that may well be bold, but the cautious and the correct action is to get Derek and what he knows and what we know back to the Livingston and see what needs to be done from there. So I think, gentlemen, we'll head back to the shuttle as cautiously as possible.
Is there
Derek,
a way of...
Get your coat.
I didn't get an option to get a coat. No one asked me to get a coat.
Is there a way of going through the Jeffries tubes to get out and meet part way to the shuttle?
Yes, it's uncomfortable and it's cramped. But
that's just digging around Ferengi in general.
But I'm obviously a little shorter than everybody else. Sir, if you don't mind, I have if you want to head back to the shuttle, I will meet you there momentarily.
Where are you going, Mr. Bosh?
I'm going to seal the door and disable the comm panels in here, and then head to you via the Jeffries tubes.
Very well. I will permit that. Normally, I would prefer my away teams to stay together. However, if you could just look over Derek before we go and just see if there's anything that he needs. He has been potentially stuck here for a little while.
I just figured so. If we sealed this room, it might make them think we're still in here and waste time trying to get in.
We can.
That's a good. Is there anything that you can do to help him with that, Mr. Varren? If we get out,
absolutely. But I do believe that we could all head through Jeffries tube and make it halfway out if we need to. There's no point in.
I just thought it was a little small for trying to drag Derek.
He's perfectly capable of moving.
Don't worry.
You'll drag him all the way back to the shuttle. I'm hoping he's going to crawl himself.
You'll crawl or I'll shoot you myself.
Yeah. So I'll give him a quick.
Derek, our doctor's just going to give you a quick cursory inspection just to make sure you're all right, as you have been here. How long have you been on this ship on your own?
Oh, it's been a few days. I don't know, really. I've lost track a little bit.
Okay, we'll get you back to the Livingston and get you some rations, so you'll be okay soon. Just give him a once over, Doctor, and then we'll head off as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
Stu, while Bosh is doing that, can I? Is there anything now we've got power to the machine? Am I still locked out, or is there anything else I can do with it?
You only have access to stellar cartography at present.
Okay.
Which attribute am I using?
Do you know you're not, because you're just scanning in with the tricorder, which is a difficulty.
Faster we can do this, the better. They know where we are. So.
And he's a little bit dehydrated, not quite malnourished, but he could definitely do with a good meal. His electrolyte levels are quite low.
I'll give him a just to boost him a little.
That'll pick me up.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
But honestly, I'm fine. I'm ready to go. You could have just asked me.
Fantastic. Right. Have you got as much? Have you got all the astrometric, all the stellar information that you need regarding that ship's course?
Sorry, sir.
Derek, you've got.
Yes, I've downloaded it into my tricorder.
Fantastic. Davok, you got anything you need from the ship's computer? Anything? Any other information you're interested in?
No, there's nothing else I can get from here.
Fantastic. Right, Mr. Varren, Mr. Bosh, let's get out of here and get that door sealed and head back towards the shuttle.
I'm going to take a couple of phaser shots into the consoles.
Yeah, do it. And as well as, is there any way, there's a manual thing on this side, is there any way to break that, basically break or melt with a phaser setting, the locking mechanism on the side of the door?
You know that a high-intensity phaser setting will basically weld the door. In fact, you can get the job done ever so slightly quicker with the Romulan disruptor.
I'm going to say, Commander, may I borrow that disruptor to weld the door shut, please?
Yes, you may. There you go, Mr. Varren. Do make use of that.
Careful. As he grabs it, yeah, I'm going to weld the door to the door frame itself.
And Davok's just going to point out, are we going through the Jeffries tube still?
Yeah, we're going to sneak out whichever direction is best to get back to the shuttle, which I think we came in through a Jeffries tube, so we'll probably be heading back out the same way.
Cool.
In which case, yeah, I'll weld the door shut. And I'll call out to Wraal before he goes in the tunnel. I'll toss the disruptor back to him.
Oh, thanks very much. I'll put your name on that one for when we get back to the ship.
Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you. I've always been wanting one of those.
I know you have an interest in collectibles.
Oh, wow.
Especially if Bosh can't get his hands on it first.
Okay.
I guess if we're going back in the Jeffries tube, how are we going to mend the line to deal with Derek?
Well, actually, we'll keep Derek between me. Actually, we'll go Mr. Varren first, then me. Then we'll have Derek behind me. Derek, you follow me. Bosh, you follow Derek, and Davok, you bring up the rear, please.
All right. I'll have my phaser out.
And off we go.
Okay, and you start crawling through the Jeffries tubes. Again, it's hot, it's uncomfortable, it's cramped. You feel like you could do with a good stretch every now and then, but you keep on going until you get to the corridor. In fact, you're fairly sure that this was the Jeffries tube that the Romulans disappeared into, that you were fighting.
Shit. Not good.
You pop open the hatch, crawl your way out. I'm going to spend some threat, because as you stick your head out, Lee, There is a disruptor blast next to it, and the Centurion and Eelin, who disappeared earlier, are standing in the corridor.
Let's do it. I got time.
Back to combat.
Let's take them out. Now we've been studying this in sort of holodeck simulations.
I'm gonna take a 1 minute bio. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. It's just right before we start. Is that okay? I'm sorry.
Is that exciting?
I'm sorry. I've been sitting here thinking. I was just like, ooh. I'll be right back. There you go. But if it involves attacking, I assume I'm going to. If I'm crawling, I assume I would lay down, take aim, and fire.
But we'll see when you get back.
Fuck it. No, I'll just wait. I don't know whose turn it is, so I'll wait till it's not my turn.
You've got 10 minutes left before the stream ends. So.
All right. Well, then let's go. Let's do it.
Okay, and with the Romulans having fired at you, I'm going to say that the order should be the order that people are in the Jeffries tube.
Okay.
In the tunnel.
Yeah. For Eric, I got me at it now. For Derek,
shut up,
very
Eric.
similar. In all honesty, it's very similar, very easily confused.
He is being a lowly ensign. He will simply do whatever he is told by his commanding officers.
Good.
So, Lee Varren, what you gonna do?
How far away from me are they?
They are out of reach, but they are in the same area. So, you reckon
out of reach of phasers, or are they long, medium, or short range?
Reach means you can physically reach out and touch them. The same
close,
area means you can see them.
Long.
Yeah, close, medium, or far.
Yeah, they're medium.
Medium. In which case, I'll have to worry about disruptors. So what I'm going to do is, since I'm in a compromising position, just like on my belly and whatnot, I guess I can take aim and fire to make it easier, but can I spend a point of determination to actually crit one of these guys? Go ahead and give myself a success.
Actually, there is a cool thing you could do with your phaser as you're crawling along with it. You could take a minor action to set it to one of its charge settings.
So for the area?
Is the area effect. If these two are close enough together, then a successful hit does damage to both of them, and we basically whack the two of them.
In which case, I'd be happy to.
But that's a minor action, so that's good to go.
They are in reach together. For what it's worth, where you are at the moment would probably be considered to be in cover because you're presenting a smaller target.
Yeah, so you don't need to do anything to get any more cover.
Yeah, but I want to make sure that somebody can come out behind me. I don't want everybody's turn to be stuck in a tunnel.
You would have to get out of the Jeffries tube for someone else to be able to.
Which is what I'm thinking about. Because otherwise it's, again, two people against me and everybody else in the Jeffries tube is just like, what do I do? So I'm going to leave the Jeffries tube. I'm going to get out of the tunnel.
Out. Are you moving right up next to them, or are you just getting out of the Jeffries tube?
No, I'm just going to get out of the Jeffries tube and stay relatively close. That way I can be a meat shield for everybody else.
Okay.
And get cover behind me. I assume there's no cover around us, so I can't really move to that
no.
If I'm also leaving room.
Getting out of the Jeffries tube means you can't take cover.
Okay. In which case...
Because that's your minor action.
Is that a minor action to move?
That is your minor action.
No, okay, you can spend momentum to do another minor action, which would be to set...
No, you can't. Because there aren't any momentum left.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to spend a point of determination to get, and that has to be based off of values, right?
Mm-hmm. You've got to link it to a value to use it. Yeah.
Well, I have seen too much to be surprised, which this would be super surprising. Getting out of Jeffrey tube and getting fired at, or I don't believe in a no-win situation, which I'm on my belly getting fired at by two people. Crawling out. So either one of those I feel like would work. But that's
I'll
up to
let
the
the
GM.
scene too much to not be surprised apply here. This wouldn't count as a no-win situation.
Okay, that's fair.
Really?
You're damn right it wouldn't. It's me against two people. I'm gonna win.
So basically, it scored you on the attempt dice a 1 for starters, which is 2 successes. So that's enough to hit them. So your remaining 2 dice are just extra momentum, hopefully.
Yeah. So I'm going to, if I'm moving across the room, I'm going to run, like get up, run, slam my shoulder into the thing, and then take a fire with my phaser from medium range.
Okay, give me your attack roll, please.
What am I rolling?
Control and security, this one, Usher.
Control and security. Well,
Yes, control and security.
Okay. So be...
Yes.
Yeah, 13.
Which are you firing at, the Centurion or the Ulan?
Oh, the Centurion. Absolutely. We're going to take out the bad motherfucker first.
Okay.
I got a 2. And I was supposed to get a 13. So I don't know. That would be momentum, I guess. Because that's under...
So was that just from the 1 dice?
Yeah, that was my first die.
Okay, so roll another
Oh,
one.
shit. I forgot I have a second one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you bought 1. You still get 2 to roll.
That's another success. It's a 12. It's 8 and 5, so it'd be 13. So I got a 12. So I think that's an also success, but the 2 would.
The 2 counts as 2 successes if it's less than your security.
It definitely is. My security is 5.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 successes.
Got our momentum back.
Yay.
2 causes the shot to hit, and we get 3 momentum.
You do indeed.
All right.
Right.
Wow. So now you roll the so you hit, and now you just roll the
3
effect
damage
dice.
Oh yeah, that's right. So D6.
It's your phases. It's 3 plus your security score.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, so
yes.
8. Hang on. I have a dice roll on my phone. I'm just going to roll that because I only currently have 1d6 with me.
Okay.
I'm happy to roll it. It's just going to take a little bit if we're running on time. Give me a second.
So just to while you're doing that, just to remind with the damage dice, 1s and 2s count as that amount of damage. 3s and 4s count as 0. 5s and 6 count as 1 plus a thingy.
An effect. Yeah.
An effect.
Should we have set our phases to anything, which you haven't because we didn't have momentum to do it.
So 1s and 2s and 5s and 6 are single damage?
No, 2s are 2 damage.
Okay.
But
all right. Well, I'm just going to...
5s and 6s are 1.
1s, 5s, and 6s are... So I'm rolling 5 plus... My security score is 5, and it's 3 extra?
Yeah, so if your security is 5 and you're using a type 2 phaser, that's 8 dice, or 8 challenge dice you roll, 8 d6s.
Holy shit. Hang on. It's 1, 6, 6, 2, 0. Yeah.
What did you roll up? I'm stacking up here.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 damage.
6 damage, and you were set to stun, weren't you?
We were set to stun because I listened to my commanding officer, and I don't want to be kicked out of Starfleet.
Okay, and the Romulan Centurion collapses to the floor.
Shot. Whap.
We are round to the Ulan, who is going to aim his disruptor at you, Lee. You're going to see him pushing a button on it.
Which is to microwave.
Set it to indigestion setting.
This is set to sludge.
So this is control and security. Okay. So he gets 1 success. It's 2 successes required to hit, isn't it?
Yeah, for ranged combat. Yeah.
Yeah. He aims and it just flies over your shoulder. You feel the heat from this disruptor beam as he just misses you. Commander Wraal.
All right, I will be right back now.
Okay.
Now he's jumped out of the Jeffrey's tube.
Yeah.
So I'm right behind him. So as my minor action, I think I will also jump down out of the Jeffrey's tube.
Okay.
So basically, I jump down opposite side of the corridor to Lee.
Okay.
And then, okay, I'm going to spend 1 point of momentum to take an additional minor action and actually aim at the Ulan properly.
Okay. What does aim do? Just for the...
that allows a reroll a single d20 made on the attack.
Okay.
So I'm going to shoot at him, and that's going to be Control and Security task, difficulty 2. Control and Security is 13. So I need less than 13 on 2 dice. And Security is 3, so anything less than that gets me 2 successes.
Only if you're using if you've got a relevant focus.
All right. No, I don't have a relevant focus on that one. But I have rolled a 6 and an 11 for 2 successes.
Yes. So you hit him. So roll your 3d6 plus
Security. So it's 6. It's a 6. I'll be rolling up for that one.
6d6.
Okay, we've got a 1, a 2, a 5, and a 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage.
5 damage, and this was at the Ulan,
yes,
wasn't it? Again on stun setting with 5 damage. He also collapses to the floor.
Whoa,
and
nice.
That's where we leave it for this evening.
Yay! Gosh damn it.
Well done, everyone. Exciting!
Yeah.
Cool.
So exciting.
Goddamn Eric.
Yeah.
Eric, Derek, whatever his name, he looks the same. Does one doesn't have a beard that the other one didn't? Does it?
No, that's evil Eric.
Evil, Mirror Universe.
Darren.
Mirror Universe.
Mirror
Eric.
Universe,
Terrifying prospect.
Darkest timeline.
Fantastic. No, that's absolutely brilliant. Thank you all for that, and thank you to the viewers for joining us for it. Don't forget to join us in a fortnight's time for the continuation. Will they be beset by more Romulans jumping out at them from the shadows?
Rule of acquisition number 37, the early investor reaps the most interest. Join the Discord.
Join the Discord. You can absolutely...
Join
You can hear us
on Discord.
Amy rule of exploration. Get back to the van.
Safe in the van.
Avoid war core.
It's already exploding.
And if you can't wait a fortnight for your Star Trek fix, you can always join me here on Twitch on Sundays afternoons at 4 p.m. GMT for Stu's Star Trek Sunday, where we do reviews and chats and.
I'll be here this week. Last week I had to work, so
I didn't get to answer the question because I ended up getting pulled away. Trials and tribulations.
That's your choice for review. Fantastic. Okay, Trials and Tribulations.
All right.
Any other offers on that? Otherwise, that'll be the one I review. Go on the Discord and
whichever one that is Riker goes to the sex planet. That would be a funny one.
Pick one.
First season, that one. It's like episode 7. I don't know.
It's Riker going to the non-binary planet that still becomes the sex planet is the interesting one.
It does. Okay.
Justice.
Fantastic.
Chris says it's justice.
Justice, indeed. And of course, for RPG, you can always join me next Wednesday. It was supposed to have happened last Wednesday, but unfortunately I was a bit under the weather. I will be doing one of these Choose Your Own Adventure Star Trek books. Yes, every other Wednesday. So you get an RPG fix for Star Trek every Wednesday now. So yay!
That sounds good.
And Bridge Crew.
And Bridge Crew tomorrow
And Bridge
night,
Crew
of course, at 9:30 GMT. So yeah, so there's lots and lots and lots on the stream of Star Trek. So in the meantime, thank you from everyone, and keep on trekking.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.